So I think I already told y'all my rule, right? If I end up, tweeting and typing way too much about a particular topic, I tell myself to just shut it down and turn on this camera and start talking. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. That's it. With the fire, if you say I'm not hot, then I know you a liar. Let's fucking go. So every time these things pop off, I'm like, is it just my algorithm? Or is everyone really talking about it? And from what I'm seeing, it looks like there is a large conversation happening about this particular tweet. So I'm just gonna show it to you so we all can see. Now, Ms. Tichina Arnold came up here and said, honest question, what can we as Black women in America do to stop aiding in the emasculation of Black men in America? Now, and this is hilarious to me because, like, if you look at masculinity, right? Or at least like the traditional version of it, or the most oppressive, the violent versions of it that people seem to want to hold on to for dear life. And if you change the definition of masculinity even one inkling, they just be like, oh my God, emasculation. So what I'm asking right now is to take a look at traditional masculinity and ask yourself, what has it done for Black women? Like, what has it done for Black women for them to be holding on to it in this kind of homophobic ass fucking way? And that's exactly what it is, queerphobic ass way. Like, what, looking at the unchanged traditional definition of masculinity, why are you talking about emasculation? Like, I hate the fact that it is just this made up fairy tale ass fake issues that people be concerned about. You're worried about niggas in dresses and niggas in skirts and niggas in makeup and shit, whatever else y'all talk about. Meanwhile, what has traditional masculinity done for y'all except to tell y'all to take y'all pregnant barefoot asses to the kitchen and make a fucking sandwich? Like, what has it done? What has masculinity done for y'all to the point where you're holding on to it and you don't want to accept any changes to the definition of what it means to be a man? Because masculinity is fucking up even men. The traditional, you know what I mean? The traditional definition of it is fucking men up. It's destroying men. It's telling them that the only feelings that they should ever express are anger and jealousy. It's telling them the only way they can express themselves is through fucking violence. It's fucking them up. So my question is not worrying about fake ass emasculation, which I don't know how someone can do that shit to you if you're not strong in your own definitions of what you feel like it means to be a man. I don't know how someone skipping across the street in a skirt or some shit can shatter the idea of Black men's masculinity. No, what is it really doing? Like, what is it really doing? Except telling y'all to shut the hell up. I seen somebody say that what you need to do in order to stop emasculation is, I seen a nigga say this. He said that y'all need to say no to feminism. Y'all need to say no to be. So it's like, even within the queerphobic questions that y'all be asking, the disingenuous queerphobic questions that y'all be asking, the answers that y'all get are to work against yourself. It's to work against yourself. And you're sitting here, and so for the life of me, I don't understand what people are talking about. Oh my God, emasculation. It's a fake ass issue. The reason why y'all are bringing up this, oh my God, emasculation, is because queer people, especially we're talking about queer Black men, do not feel, so a lot of them are now approaching the place where they don't feel like they have to sit their asses in this fucked up ass box. And so queer Black people, or they don't even have to be queer. They could be straight Black men who express themselves differently as men, and they don't feel like they have to shut the fuck up about who they are now. And so y'all see that as an attack on traditional masculinity. And my thing is like, what's so wrong with changing the definition of what it means to, or you know what I mean, what manhood is, or what it means to be a man? Why is it so bad to see that there are different kinds of men out here? What is it? And I don't know why people are so dedicated to traditional masculinity when it ain't did shit for them. It ain't did shit for them except for them to expect themselves to repress all their feelings, you know what I mean? To treat women like shit, to walk around here entitled and shit, to don't know how to fucking make a goddamn meal, can't even fucking vacuum their own fucking house. That's what I don't understand why we holding on to it. For what? For what? But like I said, I think a lot of the issue is, like I said before, that there are different kinds of men and they should be able to express themselves. They should be able to live freely without judgmental shit for coming from people who can barely have a handle on their own psyche. You know what I mean? Because they have to live up to these, you know, shit, fucking chest thumping ass definitions of what it means to be a fucking man. There are different kinds of men. There are queer men. There are men who don't adhere to traditional, you know, bullshit. I mean, from clothes to the way they act, to the way they move their body, to where they walk. I seen a Twitter video of, I guess, you know, it was some men and a little kid sitting around the table, and they were, you know, acknowledging the camera, like, what's up, bro? Like, what's up? I don't know what the fuck they was throwing up. But when they got to the kid, when the camera got to the kid, he did like this. And he's a fucking kid, so he did like this. He was like, hi, to the camera. And all the niggas around was like, bro, like, what the fuck? Like, but first of all, that's a little kid. Second of all, even if he wasn't, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, traditional masculinity polices how you even move your body. Like, what's wrong with doing that, saying hi to a kid? You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I think that is important is because that's not just a one-time thing. Like, you talking about somebody like a kid like that who's gonna, if he moves his body like that, if that's how he is, he's gonna get ridiculed. So it's like traditional masculinity or the pressure to constantly perform it destroys people. It destroys people. It destroys people's relationship with them fucking selves. It urges them to internalize poisonous fucking shit. So it's like, I don't understand why we're getting up here talking about emasculation, when the real conversation that needs to be had is about how traditional masculinity has consistently, first of all, it has its basis, in my opinion, in a whole bunch of white supremacy. That's the first thing. But like, how traditional masculinity has continued to trample over even men. So what a lot of people are focused on is the different kinds of men popping up or having larger, louder voices than they ever had before. Y'all focusing on that instead of focusing on how can we change what it means to be a man in this society so that people can feel comfortable, so that crime can fucking go down, so that people can feel comfortable expressing themselves, even if it's in a different way than has been traditionally before, that men can feel comfortable doing that shit, so they won't take their violent ass fucking tendencies out, or so the tendencies can disappear. The real conversation that needs to be had is, oh my God, can we change the definition of what it means to be a man from having to dominate everything and dominating shit and acting like, and having the biggest, largest, most arrogant fucking ego, into someone who listens and understands and pays attention to their own mind and emotional well-being and shit like that. It's even in their bodies. These niggas don't even be going to the motherfucking doctor, bitch. They don't take their ass to the dentist, ho. You know what I mean? Like, asking for help, something as simple as asking for help, bitch. If you bitches, if traditional masculinity don't let people ask for help or seek therapy, you don't need to be worried about no emasculation, bitch. You don't need to be worried about niggas in skirts. You don't need to be worried about none of that shit. You need to be worried about warping, changing the definition of masculinity. I don't even know why all that shit is arbitrary in the beginning already. What you need to be worried about is altering what is already in front of our faces so that this destruction does not continue. The fuck are you talking? I don't understand that shit. It's the stupidest shit every time I see people bring up fake issues. What you mad about a nigga in a skirt? What you mad that people, are gay? What's the issue? That you looking at traditional masculinity, you wanna hold on to that shit? It is so disingenuous. It's so disingenuous. And to sit here, I mean, y'all be sitting up here complaining about he don't do this, he don't do that, he don't listen to me, he don't know how to handle his feelings, he can't even cook a fucking meal. We over here, everybody complaining about this shit. But the minute that masculinity or what it means or its importance or the definitions start to change, they start to reflect the times that bitches are opening their fucking mouth, that people, actually are starting to see that, hey, some of the shit that we're doing traditionally, just because we did it traditionally doesn't mean we have to keep doing it. Some of this shit is not, it don't look cool. So the minute that it starts to change, everybody starts freaking out. And it didn't even change yet. It's just like, other people are offering different perspectives, right? Because traditional masculinity, I mean, as much strides as I think that we have made in certain spaces, I think that what it means to be a man in this society a lot of times has, if you look at its core, it hasn't changed that much, you know? So it's so silly to watch people who constantly suffer because of traditional masculinity get so bent out of shape when people offer different perspectives to what it means to be a man or what it means to be masculine or whatever the fuck. Men tie certain things to their actual person, to their self-esteem, to their worth as a man. Like they tie violence, some of them, they tie anger, they tie not opening their fucking mouth, they tie being stoic, they tie being emotionless to being a man, and they tie to their worth as a man. Their worth as a man translates to their worth as a human being. So this is why you have so many destructive behaviors being literally entrenched in their brains. And that's not what y'all focusing on. Y'all focusing on emasculation, a fake problem. A fake problem, because what is it about femininity that is so disgusting? Like, what is it about femininity that y'all have such an issue with it being presented on a different body? Like, why do y'all have such an issue with it? Why is it seen as weakness? That's something that y'all need to come to terms with, especially if you're someone who's feminine, especially if you're a woman or whatever. Why is it seen as weakness? Why is that weak? Why is the other ineptitudes, why is the other failures, abject failures, even though it's just because you dress a failure up with muscles and a loud fucking voice and some baggy ass pants, don't mean that they ain't suffering, bitch. You know what I mean? Does it not mean just because you dress up somebody who's emotionally stunted and can't handle their feelings in muscles and a Hulk personality, don't mean that kind of masculinity is something you should be dreaming about holding on to. You should be wanting to change the definition of masculine, of what society thinks it means to be masculine. Because bitch, we all gonna be out here suffering. We're all gonna be suffering. So I don't know. I just I had to get it to it real quick because I was like, it's so annoying to see, especially because when you are someone like me and you're black and queer and you experience different ways of life. And what I mean by that is like, you're literally nailed down to certain cis hetero fucking rules. And you see how when you tweak certain things, and we tweak them in my community, there's certain things that we just do better. We communicate more efficiently. We respect boundaries. You see what I'm saying? In certain ways, girl, we got our issues. We got our problems. But you see what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that I'm watching heterosexual people do. I'm like, I just want to shake them. Cause I'm like, just cause your great granddaddy or granddaddy did that shit and they was miserable, don't mean that you automatically need to just hop into doing some shit without questioning the shit, you know? But that's kind of where I'm coming from. It's like, there's certain changes that we had to make as queer people to survive, to thrive. And we did it by living outside of certain rules that cis hetero people set up. And there's certain things, not everything, we got shit to handle, but there's certain things that we just do better. And it's because most of the times we didn't have a choice, but it's because we let go of those weird unwritten rules that don't make no sense. It's not helping, it's not even helping y'all. It's not even helping men. So tell me what y'all, oh, I'm so glad I got that out, bitch. That was pissing me off in the comments, bitch. That was pissing me off. That was pissing me off, girl. That was pissing me off. So tell me what y'all think about that. I know that was a lot. I just think that y'all look for fake issues because y'all see change happening, and it's not even, like I say, it's not even deep, substantial change. It's just like right now, at least in my opinion, it's just a lot of people have louder voices and they're offering different perspectives. And that's shaking y'all to y'all core because y'all realize that y'all dedicated your entire existence, your entire self-esteem to unwritten rules that make no fucking sense, and they're hurting even you. So people are looking at the evolving conversation around masculinity and femininity and think that's emasculation, as if that's a fucking real problem. The real issue is how societies across the globe are being trampled by the fucked up ass effects of toxic masculinity and patriarchal oppressive ass fucking mindsets. That's what y'all need to focus on. Not a nigga in a tutu. Y'all got bigger fish to fry. I want y'all to know that, okay? And on that note, I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out my Patreon at patreon.com/AdrianExpression. New podcast episodes for you every week. And make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.
Just one kiss. I know your nigga wanna take a bite of this. I always got the nigga begging for just one kiss. I know your nigga wanna take a bite of this. I always got the